Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about the UFC announcements that Dana White just announced about UFC 319 and UFC 320. But before I get into the video, if you guys can, please hit the subscribe button and let's shoot for 10 likes on this video. Anyways, let's get into it. All right, to get into the news for UFC 319, I'll start off with the feature fight, which was Yuri Prochazka versus Khalil Roundtree. I like this fight. Ranked number 2 going against ranked number 4. Both have common wins over Jamal Hill recently. They both have fought for the belt and lost. This will just determine a title eliminator and being in line next for the belt. Obviously, I think Carlos Ulberg is ahead of them. And then, which the main event was announced, right, between Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev, which I'll get to in a sec. They will be third in line within fighting for the belt, I would say, before Carlos Ulberg and then Alex Pereira. But yeah, I actually like this fight. Both strikers, very fun. Yuri Prochazka being very unpredictable, and Khalil Roundtree, kind of having that Muay Thai style of fighting. He's also very strong within those leg kicks as well. So I'm very excited to see how that matchup ends and who wins it and how they do, because I expect it to be an unpredictable fight at the end of the day. But yeah, that's what I think about that fight. The co-main event, Merab Dvalishvili going against Corey Sandhagen. I like this matchup a lot. I'm glad they didn't give it to Umar Nurmagomedov, and I'll explain that in a bit. But Corey Sandhagen was my number 2 most deserved fighter to get that title shot. I thought Peter Yan deserved it, but since he has a fight lined up, this is the second best option. Corey Sandhagen riding either, I think, a 3 or 4 fight win streak heading into this one. He gets his title shot, and he has very good wins over Davis and Figueiredo. I believe it's Figueiredo, Marlon Vera, and Song Yadong. It's either Marlon Vera or Rob Font, one of those two, right? He has good wins overall within high contenders of that 135 division. And Corey Sandhagen, is a more, you could argue he's more defined within the striking than Sean O'Malley. He's been in there more than Sean O'Malley in this fight. So it will be very interesting to see how that goes going against Merab, someone who's a little bit more, defined in his striking, in my personal opinion. But I will say, though, I am going to be a bit concerned about the grappling side of things for Corey Sandhagen in this fight, as Merab kind of is very good at mixing it up. We've seen that within that Sean O'Malley fight. And yeah, I think, win or lose this fight, I think it kind of just settles how the 135 division goes. I feel like if Umar, in my personal opinion, gets a fight or two in, he fights Sean O'Malley first, then fights another contender within 135 in order to go back and try going for the belt again against Merab. That will be an interesting narrative instead of immediately going for a rematch. And we haven't seen him since January. So good on UFC for not making that immediate rematch and giving new contenders a title shot for that 135 belt. But at the 205 division, Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev are headlining this card. And I like this. I like this rematch personally. Alex Pereira was riding in exciting 3 title defenses before losing the belt against Magomed Ankalaev. And although I have Magomed Ankalaev winning this fight, I do think Alex Pereira has an interesting narrative heading into this fight. In the last one, from what I understand, he was on the back foot and he wasn't able to use his leg kicks as effective being on the back foot as he, in that first fight. And I think the interesting narrative is that if he could utilize his leg kicks heading into this rematch while being on the back foot, being as powerful as he can, and with this boxing, right? If that could hold enough to win the fight within the rematch, I think that's what it is at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So we'll see how that goes with the Magomed Ankalaev and Pereira. I expect Magomed to win it again, but I would like to see that adjustment out of Alex Pereira, because I do think Pereira is one of the most exciting fighters in the UFC, in my personal opinion. He's very fun to watch. And yeah, would like to see how that one goes. That's my opinion about UFC 319. 3 really good fights for a pay-per-view. I'm excited to see how that card finishes. I hope they pull off 2 very strong fights for that main card, so it's, worth money to pay for at the end of the day. And so yeah, I really like this I really like those 3 fights out of UFC for making it. Now, UFC 320, the headliner. Finally, what the people asked for. Tom Aspinall, Cyril Gane, main event at Abu Dhabi. and they'll be fighting for the heavyweight belt. The only question I have, does Tom Aspinall, when he, uh, when they fight for the heavyweight belt, does this count as a defense? Or when he wins against Cyril Gahn, he gets the undisputed belt? Because they did name him as the undisputed champion. So would he have to, with him going against Cyril Gahn, would this be his first title defense? That's the thing I'm a little confused about. If someone can let me know in the comments, I would really appreciate that. But yeah, this is a great headline. Tom Aspinall, with the whole John Jones saga, hasn't been able to get a fight ever since that last one he had. But now, against another very skillful heavyweight, these two were known for being the athletic heavyweight prospects coming up into the UFC. And we finally get to see that super fight, or that big fight, I should say. Not the super fight. It's not a super fight. A big fight within that heavyweight division, because they're both very athletic. They're both very promising on their come up, and both of them being very tall, athletic, with kickboxing involved alongside with, Tom Aspinall, he can mix it up with his wrestling and his striking. I would like to see how Cyril Gahn adjusts to that, because he's not the best when fighters have a wrestling background. We saw him get taken down against Francis Ngannou. Look what John Jones did to Cyril Gahn when they fought. So I think that's the X factor of Cyril Gahn, as if he has improved with his takedown defense and grappling in general. As for Tom Aspinall, listen, this is his fight. He just cannot fight stupid. Make sure the chin's on the air as much, and all the everything is on him. In my personal opinion, if he fumbles it, that's on Tom Aspinall, because I think this is a very winnable fight for Tom. But yeah, overall, I like this fight a lot for UFC 320 headline. I think it's finally we get a heavyweight championship fight. No more inactivity in that division, as I see. As I think that Tom Aspinall will, start becoming a champion in that weight class. Hopefully, we see an active title defenses. You know what I mean? Like Rob fighting 3 times a year. If he could do something similar to that, that'll be very cool as a UFC fan to witness. But anyways, if you guys like this video and want more, please hit the like, comment, and subscribe button. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.